Hi, I'm Laura Howse, and welcome to House's House of History. I'm glad you're tuning into this channel, and I hope that I can communicate my love of history to you. I hope that you get as excited about this field as I do, and most importantly, I hope that some of the lessons that I have on here, the videos of lessons that I have, or just talks that I have on various topics are helpful to you, and that you can kind of see the excitement and passion that I have for this field. So basically, welcome to my channel. This is a brand new channel on YouTube. And so a little bit about me. My background is that I have a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in history. I've been teaching history for 29 years. And I've taught high school for all of those years, middle school, high school, mostly high school, and also a 5-year stint in college where I taught at Canisius College and taught beginning teachers who will be teaching social studies and history. My high school experience has been mostly at Kenmore West High School, few schools before then, but mostly Kenmore West High School. So bachelor's degree in history, master's degree in history, teaching at various levels. This is who I am. This is what I love to do. So I can't wait to share some really fascinating lessons with you. Some lessons where we get into historiography, we get into the writing and the creativity behind the writing in history, lessons about the Cold War, lessons about the rise of authoritarian states, people like Stalin, Mao, Castro, some of the dictators that have fascinated people for all of the 20th century and now into the 21st century, where people are still asking questions, historians still trying to dig in and get to the bottom of how could these regimes turn out to be the way they did. So lots to talk about, lots for you and I to discover about history together. So that's my purpose. It's really a channel for you to pick up some lessons on history, and a channel for really all of us to discover more history together. There's a lot of exciting news about history, and particularly this field called historiography. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but a lot of people just know of history. And I'm going to be honest right here. I know I love it, and I've been teaching for 29 years, but I'm going to be honest, I know what people say about history. The second you ask somebody or you talk to somebody, hey, what was your history classes like when you were a kid? You often don't get a really great response. To be honest, I'm saying it right up front on my channel here, day one. Most people will tell you, you know it. I almost don't have to say it. History is fill in the blank. You know what they say? Boring. Hurts my heart, but they think history's boring. And you know why I think that is? I think for so many years, people got this dates. They got in their heads that history's about facts, figures, dates, what happened, when it happened. You know what? Wrong. Totally incorrect conception of history and what it is. Because you know what I know about history? I know history to be one of the most creative fields there is. And you're sitting here right now listening, thinking, creative history? I thought it was like the textbooks. It's a stack of facts, and I gotta memorize the facts. I gotta memorize the dates. Well, guess what? Those are helpful, those dates and facts. But you can always look them up. People can look them up at any time, anywhere, right? So that's not what it's about. There is such creativity and excitement in history when you think about the telling of it, the writing of it. A good writer, hey, I get it when everyone says history boring because they're thinking about textbooks. Listen, pitch your textbook out. Now listen, you need it sometimes. I'm going to say sometimes you need the textbook to get the background. You just got to get your basic facts. But throw that out then, because when you read good history, a historian who can write, I'm thinking off the top of my head about Tad Sulk. Do you know Tad Sulk? Tad Sulk is an Eastern European historian who lived in Cuba for a while and wrote several books on Cuba and Fidel Castro. Tad Sulk's description about Castro in a sugarcane field, lying on his back with two of his buddies, waiting for the time he could escape Batista's forces who were against him, get out of that cane field and get into the mountains to start fighting to hold his movement and take over Cuba. the way Tad Sulk writes this piece, you feel like you're in the cane field with these three men. You're right there laying on your back, and you get it. You get how exciting history is. That's well-written history. Maybe a chapter out of a typical textbook, even an AP textbook or an IB textbook, may not be the most exciting, but read Tad Sulk. Read John Lewis Gaddis. Have you heard of John Lewis Gaddis? John Lewis Gaddis is one of the foremost writers currently on the Cold War. This is a professor from Yale University who's written, I don't even want to say because I might get the number wrong, but we're going to say upwards of over 12 books on the Cold War. Fascinating. He puts you right there. He writes with such description. He also challenges you. There's spots in his books where he describes a whole thing and you're thinking, I don't remember this. I think this is wrong. I don't even think this happened. He gets you. Because you get to the end of that passage and you're like, what is it? Am I crazy? Did I miss all those days of history class? Or is this guy off his rocker? And then he throws in a line and says, but that's not how it happened. It's a what if question. One of the best questions of history is, what if this had happened? What if that had happened? He puts you in the description to think about, what if things had gone a different way? And it just makes you think. So, I'm just here to tell you, on the first video on my channel, I'm here to tell you, history is exciting. And the way it's written, historiography, which is the interpretation of history, can be exciting and can be creative. How you tell a story. And when you've uncovered the facts, your interpretation may differ a little from someone else's interpretation. We all use our own eyes. Your lens of looking at history, many historians have different lenses. They look at it from the economic perspective. They look at it from a social perspective, an intellectual perspective, geographic perspective. There are so many ways to look at history. It just makes it fun. So, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in and listening about history. Thanks.